Love is a battlefield even for the mere mortal, and the billionaire has so much more to lose.
The lives of billionaire housewives seem like a dream. Mansions, designer wardrobes, private jets, and lavish parties. But beneath the glitter lies a darker reality of isolation, control, and unimaginable pressure to maintain a flawless facade. From public betrayals to life-altering scandals, their stories reveal a world far from perfect. Have you ever wondered what it really costs to live the so-called dream?
A man will marry and then be taken to the cleaners, and then marry again and be taken to the cleaners.
Don't even think about getting married.
When you think of the life of a billionaire's wife, it's hard not to imagine endless luxury, private jets, designer closets, and sprawling mansions. Social media feeds into this fantasy, offering a carefully curated glimpse into their world. Take Linda Andrade, for example, who calls herself the original Dubai housewife. Her TikTok videos show her sipping 24-karat gold coffee, renting exotic cars just to avoid walking, and unwrapping Chanel bags like they're groceries. To most people, it's a fairy tale brought to life. But fairy tales often hide darker truths. Beneath the glittering surface of Linda's life lies something far less enviable. Her world, as perfect as it seems, is carefully controlled. She can't leave her home without her husband or a bodyguard, and she doesn't drive those luxurious cars she flaunts online. Her life, while lavish, is also lonely. A gilded cage where the bars are made of diamonds. The pressure to constantly look flawless, to live up to an unattainable standard, can be suffocating. What's even more haunting is how this portrayal of perfection isolates these women further, keeping them trapped in their own illusion. Social media only amplifies the pressure. By sharing every opulent moment, Linda and others like her invite admiration and sometimes envy from millions. But this constant spotlight also brings fear. The fear of being robbed, judged, or criticized. Living in the public eye doesn't just mean managing appearances. It means constantly looking over your shoulder, wondering if the price of visibility is worth the cost. Ever heard about the golden cage? We often look at the lives of billionaire wives and see a dream come true. Mansions, designer wardrobes, and endless luxury. But behind those golden doors lies a reality few talk about. For many of these women, the life of privilege can feel more like a prison. It's what some call the golden cage, where everything looks perfect from the outside, but the freedom and happiness you expect are missing.
People say like he's gonna leave you, he's gonna cheat on you, he's gonna abuse you. Someone said that I'm a
Take Linda Andrade, for example. Her glamorous life, filled with gold-dusted coffees and luxury cars, hides a darker truth. She can't leave her home without her husband or a bodyguard. Even the cars she flaunts aren't truly hers to drive. It's not freedom, it's control, wrapped in luxury. She may live in palaces, but her every move is watched, her independence stripped away. What might seem like a life of ease is, in reality, one of limitations. Then there's the constant fear that comes with immense wealth. Sharing lavish lifestyles on social media might bring admiration, but it also invites risks. The fear of being robbed or targeted weighs heavily, turning even small joys into sources of anxiety. The very thing that should bring comfort, their wealth, becomes a source of unease, creating walls that isolate them from the world. The isolation doesn't just come from fear, it's built into the lifestyle. With partners often traveling or engrossed in their businesses, many wives find themselves alone in these grand, empty homes. Luxury items, no matter how extravagant, can't replace companionship or genuine connection. Instead of joy, their lavish surroundings can amplify feelings of loneliness and detachment. But what about scandals, secrets, and betrayals? Being married to a billionaire might seem like a life of endless perks. But behind the luxury often lies scandals, secrets, and betrayals that would shake anyone to their core. These women, often admired for their poise and grace, are no strangers to the darker sides of their husband's power and influence. Then there's Ruth Madoff, whose life was torn apart when her husband Bernie Madoff's massive Ponzi scheme was exposed. For decades, Ruth lived a life of unimaginable luxury, but it all came crashing down when Bernie's fraudulent empire collapsed. Ruth lost everything: her wealth, her homes, her social standing, and, tragically, her 2 sons. One died by suicide, unable to bear the shame, while the other lost his battle with cancer. Ruth's story became a painful reminder of how closely a wife's life can be tied to her husband's actions, for better or for worse. And what about the emotional and psychological toll? The emotional and psychological toll on billionaire wives is an often overlooked part of their seemingly perfect lives. While they may appear to have everything, beneath the surface, many are battling profound struggles that money simply cannot fix.
Harvey Weinstein's ex-wife, Georgina Chapman, is moving on with a new man, and you might recognize him. Shortly after the disgraced movie mogul was found guilty of 2 felony sex crimes in New York City, news broke that Chapman was now dating actor Adrian Brody. According to a source, the pair have been together for a while, and that source adds, quote, "It diverts her attention."
Georgina Chapman's story is a powerful example of this. Married to Hollywood producer Harvey Weinstein, she lived a life surrounded by glitz, glamour, and red carpets. Her designs graced the bodies of the world's most famous stars, and her marriage to one of Hollywood's most powerful figures seemed like a dream. But that dream turned into a nightmare when Weinstein's predatory behavior came to light. As the scandal unfolded, Chapman found herself at the center of public scrutiny. She faced humiliation, judgment, and questions about what she knew and whether she had turned a blind eye. Imagine being dragged into a storm not of your making, your life dissected by millions of strangers. The emotional impact was devastating. Chapman, a woman who once built her life around elegance and poise, found herself retreating from the spotlight, her mental health in tatters. She had to rebuild her life while shielding her children from the fallout. It wasn't just about starting over. It was about rediscovering who she was outside of the shadow cast by her husband's disgrace. But Chapman's story is far from unique. Many women married to powerful men lose their sense of self over time. They are often reduced to the wife of, rather than celebrated for their own accomplishments or identities. Living in the public eye amplifies their struggles, as every misstep or moment of vulnerability becomes fodder for headlines and gossip. The pressure to maintain a flawless image can be suffocating, leaving them feeling isolated, misunderstood, and, at times, entirely alone. Let's talk about the financial and legal battles. Financial and legal battles can turn the lives of billionaire wives into high-stakes dramas, often dragging on for years and playing out in the public eye. Despite their privileged lifestyles, many of these women face grueling disputes that lay bare the complexities of power, wealth, and relationships.
Demanding an apology from his wife Veronica Lario, who wants to divorce him. He says that she's been conned by the left. Corriere della Sera has a picture of him on the TV show with his wife behind him, and there was also a big banner saying, "My time to talk," because Berlusconi says that all the things Veronica Lario accuses him of are lies. He says that he never intended to present beautiful young women.
Veronica Lario's divorce from Silvio Berlusconi, the former Italian prime minister, is a prime example. Their marriage, marked by lavish displays of wealth and political scandal, unraveled when Lario had enough of Berlusconi's public indiscretions. Her demand for €3 million a month in alimony set off a legal battle that made headlines across Europe. Initially awarded the staggering amount, her payments were later reduced to €1.4 million a month, a sum most of us can't even imagine. Yet the drama didn't stop there. Years later, Berlusconi's legal team argued that Lario was more than capable of supporting herself with her own fortune, leading to a court decision ordering her to repay €60 million in previously awarded alimony. The back-and-forth legal wrangling wasn't just about money. It became a symbol of the power dynamics at play in their relationship. Elaine Wynn, often called the Queen of Las Vegas, also found herself entangled in complex legal disputes after her divorce from casino magnate Steve Wynn. Their separation was far from simple. Despite co-founding a casino empire together, Elaine had to fight tooth and nail to retain her stake in the company. Her battles included everything from boardroom power plays to allegations of misconduct against her ex-husband, who faced accusations of sexual harassment. Elaine's journey showcased not just the financial toll, but the emotional strain of fighting for what she had helped build. They are also dealing with tragedies and unsolved mysteries. The world of immense wealth and power often carries a shadow of tragedy and mystery, with stories that are as chilling as they are baffling. One such case is Rebecca Zahau's mysterious and untimely death, a haunting reminder that life in the orbit of the wealthy can come with a terrible cost.
It's the very latest on the controversial case of Rebecca Zahau. The San Diego socialite, police say, committed suicide. But her family says it was murder.
I know my sister fought. She fought really hard.
Rebecca Zahau, a Burmese-American woman, was in a relationship with Jonah Shaknai, a pharmaceutical tycoon, when her life took a tragic and perplexing turn. In 2011, Zahau was found dead at the Shaknai family mansion in Coronado, California. Her body was discovered hanging from a balcony, her hands and feet bound, with a t-shirt stuffed into her mouth. On the bedroom door near her body, a cryptic message was scrawled in black paint. "She saved him. Can you save her?" The phrase only deepened the mystery and raised more questions than answers. Authorities ruled Zahau's death a suicide, an explanation that many found hard to accept. The circumstances surrounding her death seemed almost impossible. A woman tying her own hands and feet, gagging herself, and then managing to hang herself. The official narrative didn't sit well with her family, who believed foul play was involved. They pointed to Zahau's final days, marked by immense stress after Jonah's 6-year-old son suffered a fatal accident while under her care. The child's tragic fall in the same home added another layer of anguish to the case. The Zahau family filed a wrongful death lawsuit against Jonah's brother, Adam Shaknai, who had been staying at the mansion during that time. In a civil trial, a jury found Adam liable for Zahau's death, but the case was later settled, leaving the full truth shrouded in uncertainty. Finding freedom and redemption. Life after the storm may seem impossible, but for some women, finding freedom and purpose beyond the chaos of high-profile marriages becomes their greatest triumph. These stories of resilience show that even in the darkest moments, there's a way to rebuild, heal, and thrive.
I think it's really important to say, look, I had a lot of tears for many days. I mean, days where I'm literally laying on the floor in the carpet, this close to me, thinking, how can this be? How can I get up? How am I going to move forward? And days I certainly was angry. That's part of the grieving process. You're grieving a loss of something you thought you had and thought you had for your lifetime.
Take Melinda Gates, for example. Her split from Bill Gates after 27 years of marriage was a shock to many. But it also marked the beginning of her stepping into her own light. As one of the most influential philanthropists in the world, Melinda didn't let the turbulence of her personal life slow her down. Instead, she doubled down on her mission to make the world a better place. Through the Gates Foundation, she continues to champion causes like gender equality, global health, and education, proving that her identity is far more than just Mrs. Gates. Her story is a reminder that endings can be painful, but they can also pave the way for new beginnings. Similarly, Georgina Chapman faced a public reckoning unlike any other when her husband, Harvey Weinstein, was exposed as a serial predator. The scandal rocked her world, leaving her career and reputation in tatters. But even in the face of such overwhelming adversity, Georgina found the strength to rebuild. She retreated from the public eye for a while, focusing on her children and taking time to heal. Slowly but surely, she began to reclaim her place in the fashion industry, bringing her brand, Marchesa, back to life. Her journey has been one of courage and determination, reminding us that setbacks don't define us. What we do after them does. So, what are your thoughts on this? Let us know in the comments below.